Well, it's absolutely freezing and it's been raining all night long, which makes it even colder. Oh, as you can see, everything looks wet and damp and nasty and yeah, just cold and miserable, quite frankly. But there you go. Pi's now preparing the duck feed, and with this she's done twice a day. And right now what she's doing is cutting up the banana cutting up banana tree. The ducks really like it because it's full of water, so it gives them fluid, and then this gets mixed with other feed. I'll take you around and show you. We've got some other stuff that we buy. This is like a corn type mix, and there's other duck feed as well that we use, and it gets mixed up as well with duck pellets. This is another feed that we use, and this helps promote laying of eggs apparently. But you know, those two are pretty dry, so the banana again adds fluid to it. Motorbike's sick. I think it didn't really appreciate me taking it down the farm track, and I think the shocks have given way, so I've got to take that to the mechanic, let him have a look at it. Dog's taking a nap at the top of the stairs, trying to get warm, poor thing. It is chilly. And there's poor old Henry. Yeah, he's not very happy either. Too cold. In-laws have gone off to the hospital. Go and check Mum's back, see if that's okay. She seems to be getting a bit better, so that's the main thing. But as the doctor said, it could take a few months before she fully recovers. Not pleasant. Yeah, it does look a bit dreary out here. Lots and lots of rain last night. It's still very, very overcast, and it's freezing cold. As you can see, lots of low clouds on the mountains this morning, and it's forecast for more rain. Pi's busy cutting down a banana tree, which she'll then cut up for the duck food. Puppies are out, making a nuisance of themselves as usual. And the topic this morning is, what does it cost to live in Thailand? Now that's a question I've been asked many, many times, and one that's really subjective to your lifestyle. It really depends on what you want and what you expect, you know. It can cost you very little, it can cost you an absolute fortune. It depends, and it's no different from living anywhere else in the world. You can live in London, for instance, it will cost you an absolute fortune, or you could live in, you know, in the northern regions of England that will cost you considerably less. But let me try and break this down for you as best as I can. And I'm going to take two areas. I'm going to take Chiang Rai, where I'm living now, and Phuket, where I used to live. Phuket obviously is based in the southern regions of Thailand, and it's very, very westernised. It's expensive to say the least. On that note, it is possible to live in Phuket on a pretty tight budget. There are lots of retirees that live there, and they do so on a pension. The cost of living also is subjective to fluctuations in the currency market as well. You know, right now the US dollar is around about 36 to the baht, and the pound is currently around about 44. When I first came to Thailand, it was 78 baht to the pound. So it gives you an idea that we've taken a massive drop. So obviously things become more and more expensive. So you're going to have to factor that one in. But let's look at housing. Let's start with that. Accommodation ranges, and I'm going to assume here that you're looking to rent, not buy. Now, it is possible in Phuket to rent a place for under 10,000 baht a month. Don't expect a palace. It's not going to be anything like it. It'll be a basic home, maybe 1-2 bedrooms, and you know, it'll be comfortable enough. Your electricity bill, again, it'll depend on, you know, your lifestyle. If you're happy just to switch on a fan to keep you cool, then, you know, by the time you've run your refrigerator, your TV, your fans, your lights and everything else, you can budget 1,000 baht, sometimes under 1,000 baht. It depends on the appliances you have and how you use them. If you're going to use aircon, then of course, you know, you expect your electricity bills to run at 2,000 baht a month plus. Then of course there's the TV. You know, you can go for a cheap you know, cable system that'll set you back 300-400 baht a month, or you can go for UBC, which will set you back anything from about 1,500 baht a month upwards. Again, it all comes down to the lifestyle that you choose. If you're looking to go, you know, high end, then you know, expect to pay for it. Let's look at vehicles. You can go out and buy a motorbike or a scooter, really, that'll set you back, say, 50-60,000 baht, and it'll be dirt cheap to run, and you know, it'll get you around. If you're looking to buy a car or an SUV, for instance, then you know, expect to pay a lot more. Prices can be similar to what you'd expect to pay in the West, although with certain vehicles such as BMWs, Mercedes, anything that's imported, expect to pay 3 times the amount that you would back home. Again, with, you know, just going back for a second to motorbikes, you can go for the bigger bikes if they're produced here, such as the Honda. Then yeah, prices are similar to what you pay in the West. If you go for imports, of course, yeah, it's a lot more expensive. But again, really depends on what you want. If you're looking to go high end, then you can, you know, sky's the limit. You could spend an absolute fortune. I think it was last year there was a report in a local newspaper that Angelina Jolie and her husband Brad Pitt visited Phuket, and they paid $18,000 per night, yeah, for this villa. So it gives you an idea of just how expensive things can be. The last time I looked at house prices in Phuket, the most expensive one I ever come across was a villa called Villa Varai, and its asking price was 700 million Thai baht. That's about 22, I guess, million US dollars. So yeah, you can go absolutely stupid. Of course, if you've got that type of money and you don't mind spending it, and that's the lifestyle that you like, then sure, you know, go for it. And then of course there's everything else on top. Will you be cooking at home? Will you be eating out? Eating out can range from a 40 baht bowl of noodles to a 2,000 baht meal per person. And again, if you decide you want to drink high-end wine and liquor, then you're going to be paying for it. A reasonable bottle of wine here will cost you probably 3 times as much as you would expect to pay back home. Because again, it's import. Here in Chiang Rai, it's, you know, it's a complete contrast. It's you're looking at rural Thailand. This is you know, this is where a lot of people are very, very poor, and they live very, very basically. You've seen the house that I live in. In Phuket, there are Western style supermarkets. One of them is called Villa Market, and it specialises in Western produce, but again, massively expensive. Here, you know, you're not going to find Villa Market, and you'll get your Tesco's, what they call Tesco Lotus and Macro, but a lot of the stuff that they have in there is basically Thai produce. Again, going back to Phuket, in Tesco Lotus you'll find Western produce, and it is again expensive. So again, it really depends on, you know, how much money you have and the type of lifestyle you want to lead. In Chiang Rai, it is relatively inexpensive. Rent, I've seen online rental properties here for around about the 3,000-4,000 baht mark, which is, less than half the price you'd pay in Phuket. They're not exactly palaces. If you want to move up market, I've seen properties here where the rental price is approximately 40,000-50,000 baht, but for that kind of money it will get you a high-end villa with a pool. It is possible in Phuket to have the same, but it won't be quite as high-end. Property prices here, as well, as if you think about buying, range. As I've just explained with Phuket, it is very, very expensive. Average land value there now is about 8 million baht per rai. Here, of course, land prices are significantly cheaper. A rai of land with a Chinook title here, probably 1 million baht, maybe 1.2. If it's farmland, well, like my dad's farm here, you're probably looking 80,000 baht a rai max, I guess. So significantly cheaper. Where you live in Thailand will really determine how much it's going to cost you to live. Fruit, vegetables in Chiang Rai are very, very cheap. It's all farmland around here. A lot of it actually we grow ourselves, so we don't have to buy it. In Phuket, it's about 3, maybe 4 times more expensive. Again, it has to be transported, so they have to factor in that cost. Things like chicken, pork, beef, again, relatively inexpensive here. In Phuket, it's at least twice, if not 3 times more expensive. And of course, if you really want to go to the other spectrum, you can go for the imported meats. Beef, for instance, is massively expensive. I've seen it at almost 5 times the amount I would have paid back in the UK. So yeah, it is quite an expense. But of course, there are people that buy it. If there was nobody buying it, there wouldn't be anybody selling it. So if you can afford it and that's the way you want to live, that's fine. There are quite a few golf courses up here. I was surprised, but they're not overly expensive. 3, 4, 500 baht a round of golf. Phuket, it's massively expensive. You could be looking at a minimum, I guess, now of about 3,000 baht, and it'll exceed 7,000 baht in some cases. If you're looking to buy a golf membership up here, maybe 200,000, 300,000 baht max. In Phuket, you're looking at 1 million baht plus. Although, on that note, I've got to be honest with you, a lot of people who sell their membership do sell them cheap. So if you buy them from an existing member, it's generally a lot cheaper than if you buy it from the club itself. I used to play golf, and I used to love playing golf, and I used to play pretty much every day. I even played off a handicap of 8, so I was getting pretty good at it. I bought membership at the Blue Canyon, which is one of Phuket's premium golf clubs. It had 2 golf courses, the Canyon course itself and then the Lakes course. Beautiful. I mean, I used to love it there, but membership there cost me 1.1 million. And I believe now the prices are around about 1.3 if you buy it from the club. If you buy it from an existing member, you can expect to pay around about the 1 million baht mark. It's a lot of money, an awful lot of money. Living up here is a lot cheaper in pretty much every aspect I can think of. Rents are a lot cheaper. Food is a lot cheaper. There's not much in the way of entertainment, so you don't spend an awful lot of money going out, for dinners and drinking wine. I can't actually remember the last time I had a glass of wine, and it's something I miss for sure. Can't beat a good spaghetti bolognese or a nice pizza with a bottle of wine. So if you're thinking about coming to Thailand, then you're going to need to assess your objectives in terms of what type of lifestyle you want to lead. It is possible to lead a millionaire's lifestyle, but you'll pay for it. it is possible to live like I do on almost next to nothing and get away with it. I have to say at this point that I don't pay any rent. I mean, I live with my in-laws. Not an ideal situation, and not one that I'm really happy with. I've got to admit, until my YouTube channel kicks off and we start making a living from it, there's not much I can do. There is another difficulty that I've faced living up here, and that is that there's not that amount of property that is available for rent. Most of them want to sell it. I don't want to really sound bitter here, but I'm facing the issues that I think a lot of expats face here regarding Westerners being taken for a ride. Let me explain. It appears to be the case where they view most Westerners as having big money. Trying to convince most Thais that I'm a poor Westerner just doesn't cut it. They have no concept of it. They just refuse to believe it. So Pi went out last week and she found a couple of properties that were up for rent, and the prices range from 2,000 to 4,000 baht. But once they found out that she was married to a Falang, the price doubled. So I wasn't very happy. But the issue didn't stop at that, because they didn't really want to rent to a foreigner. What they would rather do is sell it to them. And a property that would probably go for maybe 600,000-700,000 Thai baht here was bumped up to 2 million because I'm a Falang. So it's just the reality here. It's no good. It's no good bleating on about it, and it's no good bashing the Thais over it. It's just the way it is. Again, as I've said in a previous video, when you decide to go for the expat life, no matter where you live in the world, you're going to find differences, and you really need to learn to live with those differences. Moaning about it really is not going to change anything. It is what it is. Either deal with it or get on a plane and go home. It's as simple as that. So it is still possible. There's no reason why you can't find accommodation here in Chiang Rai that you can rent for under 10,000 baht, and it'll be a reasonably nice home. On that note, you'll have to look at places that are closer to Chiang Rai city. It appears to me, from what I've seen, that it's a little bit more accessible to the Westerners, where I'm living, of course, which is in the middle of nowhere. I mean, again, I'm 20 kilometers away from the nearest 7-Eleven. It's more difficult, and there are really not that many homes available to rent. So if you're looking to move, you really need to consider, your lifestyle, what type of lifestyle you want to lead, what your budget is, what you can afford every month. And finally, the location. And the location, as I said to you, will really determine, what you're going to be able to achieve on your money. Again, if it's Phuket, then you're going to achieve very little if you don't have a huge amount of money. Up here, you don't really need a huge amount of money, and you can actually achieve quite a lot. But again, you're going to have to sacrifice certain things as well. Don't think to yourself, well, I can live in rural Thailand and still readily buy a bottle of wine, because you can't. You're going to have to go a long way to go and get it. So there you have it, folks. The cost of living really is subjective to what you expect out of life and what you can afford. So I'll leave it there, guys. That is the reality. Think about what you want. Think about your budget, how much you have. And then I would strongly suggest what you do is get on the internet, do a huge amount of research on different areas in Thailand. Again, think about the climate as well, because this is also important. Up here it's really, really cold. You really want to live in a place where it's very, very cold during the winter. In Phuket you don't have that problem. So look at where you want to live, research how much rents are, look at whether there's any facilities where you can readily buy what you want to buy in terms of food and drink. Look at the entertainment aspect, what's available to you and at what cost, and then factor it all in, lump it all together, and then compare the two and see how it works out. You're going to find there will be a huge gap. You know, if you look at from Chiang Rai to Phuket, the cost gap is going to be huge. You could be looking at least 3 to 4 times more expensive living in Phuket than it would here in Chiang Rai. But again, you're going to have to sacrifice an awful lot, and it will really be up to you whether those sacrifices are worth a cheaper cost of living, or whether you would rather spend more money and live a lifestyle that you're used to. So there you go, guys. That is the best way I can break down the cost of living in Thailand. Well, I hope you found this video useful in some way. If you do have any questions that you feel I didn't really cover here, by all means, you know, plop them in the comments box below, and I will certainly answer them. It's just started raining again, so I'm going to sign off. We've got a huge amount to do. We've got to try and sort these ducks out. They keep getting out. And the farmer has just come across and he's not happy at all. So my father-in-law's just had words with him and smoothed things over. So we're going to get to work. Okay guys, have a great day. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Please share and like. That makes a vast difference to this channel. I'll catch you later guys. You have a great day. You stay safe, and I'll see you tomorrow.